It's Dino and Joe Show. This is Dino. That is Joe.
Hello.
Hey, that's exactly what I wanted. I
Okay,
wanted the
that's-
hello. That's all I wanted was you to go.
That's exactly what you got then.
Excellent. Perfect. See, without even practicing.
So I don't want to filibuster this by talking continuously, but that's my plan. And
You're going to dominate show one?
so I have this is the first thing that popped into my mind, and I was thinking about things, and this comes up in my mind at least once a week.
Okay.
Minimum.
Okay.
How many chickens are there in the world?
So we're going into the mind of Joe. And the mind of Joe starts out with how many chickens are there?
Allow me to explain why.
Oh, please do.
Where's the last place you went to eat? Whether it was lunch today, dinner last night, whatever.
Last place I ate was a place called China Cottage, which is Chinese food, obviously.
Fantastic.
It'd be weird. We call it China Cottage and do Italian.
Right, it's Italian food. Maybe that's their specialty. You don't know.
Right, exactly. It's really a game changer when you walk in.
Got the checkered
Right.
tablecloths and everything.
The old Chianti bottles with the wax. Yeah, exactly. You know, the guy playing the violin.
I'm willing to bet. But it's all in Chinese, though.
Right. Because a place like China Cottage would have to be.
Right, you'd have to do that.
Yeah.
So, was there chicken on that menu?
Funny enough, I got chicken. My wife got chicken.
Okay.
My son got chicken, and my other son got chicken.
We're still helping my point even further.
That's hysterical. Now you said that.
I'm now going to open this up a little bit wider.
Okay.
Think about most of the places you've gone. Now, I will say there are vegan and obviously vegetarian restaurants that will not have chicken, obviously.
Sure.
But think about most of the places you've eaten. Has there been chicken on the menu?
Sure, of course.
Okay. Have you ever been to a place where chicken was not available? Meaning you said, I would like the chicken, and the proprietor comes up to you and says, unfortunately, sir, our chicken has been depleted for the day.
Well, I always wonder how Cane's never runs out of chickens.
You just
Right.
put my point so perfectly. How do we not run out of chicken? How many chickens are in the world for there never to be a shortage of chicken? I've heard a shortage of avocados, of apples, of so many different things. There's always chicken everywhere you go. How?
Is it really chicken?
That's the point too. What are we consuming if it's not chicken? But that's just a little show one, episode one, look into my mind and what I think of at least once a week when I'm eating somewhere.
By the way, so it also concerns me that once a week you're like, how many chickens are there in the world?
But you have to admit it's kind of a good question.
Oh, it's a great question.
Do you know the answer? Nobody knows the answer.
I don't know that I can Google search the answer.
I don't.
But I'm going to try.
I don't think Tyson knows the answer.
Oh, I don't think Tyson knows the answer to much. No. How many chickens? If I come up with an answer, what are you going to do? By the way, when I start the words, how many chickens are there? Mm-hmm. It literally completes worldwide for me.
See? So I'm not the only one. I'm not a weirdo.
Holy cow. Would you like to know globally in 2020 how many chickens there were in the world?
I would want nothing more.
Are you sure?
Well, maybe. I don't know.
There are 5 million chickens in China alone. There are 3.7 million in Indonesia, which, by the way, is a little weird that that's number 2. The United States is third at 1.9 million, which we're really slacking. I would figure we would have been way higher than that. Brazil 1.4, Pakistan 1.3, Iran little over 1 million, India 800,000, Mexico 580,000, Russia 497,000, and Myanmar 394,000, which also was a surprise in the top 10.
Couple points to make here. Number one, you and your family are the reason China has the most chickens, because your last place to eat proves that they need that much, because all of the Chinese food apparently is chicken related. You had it, your wife had it, and your kids had it.
Well, it's chicken, fish, or beef. Come on.
Well, I'm just saying
that is the Chinese restaurant staple: chicken, fish, or beef.
But that's what I mean. That's what you got to do, and you never get the fish. I'm sorry, you just never get the fish.
I rarely order fish.
It's a crapshoot. You don't want
to. If it's not a seafood restaurant, I don't. I almost never order fish. Yeah. Because if you have ever followed food and I don't remember the name of the show, but it's some dude ruins everything. And
Adam ruins everything. Yes.
Yeah, Adam ruins everything. Right.
That's very.
Have you seen the one about seafood restaurants? And the fish that you order is not actually that fish.
Really?
And they,
yeah. See, that's.
Yeah. It changed my whole perspective on how I would ever eat at a seafood restaurant anyway, which is not my favorite choice of restaurant. Gotta admit, like, that's not where I choose to go.
Yeah, my parents loved going to seafood restaurants, and I just never got
parent thing though. That becomes I don't know at what age you turn to you want to eat fish a lot and you want to overpay for fish, but for some reason that is a parent thing where at a certain age in life you go, fish sounds tasty.
I guess. Like, I enjoy a good cut of salmon. Salmon's outstanding. But
sure.
I will rarely make that a weekly thing. I don't know. But so here's my point. You have successfully answered a question I have been pondering for.
Does this not have to ruin every third day of the week for you now? Of I wonder how many chickens there are.
But here's the thing: that number cannot be consistent. I'm sure today there might be 500,000 more than there were yesterday or the day after 3. So I'll still always wonder it, but I'll come back to this conversation and just appreciate that you did that for me.
That's living chickens, by the way.
That's true. Cooked like chickens that are prepared. Right. So see, we didn't find a true answer, but we found a good one. We found a good answer.
We're still investigating.
This
will be an ongoing investigation.
That'll be part 2.
So if you go to a restaurant, is chicken your first choice?
Depends on the restaurant.
I mean, obviously, if you go to a Cane's, you have no choice. That's why you're there, right? So you go to a restaurant. So we eat in a lot of these dinners, right? That you and I have to go to for work and socializing and sitting down, and it's usually a beef or chicken type of place, right? Or depending on the company we're with, we're at a steak place and you have to choose either steak or chicken. Do you go? Where do you go?
Honestly, it's probably 50-50.
Yeah.
Because I enjoy a good steak, don't get me wrong, but I also love a nice piece of chicken. Sometimes I don't want to be as heavy as a steak. Sometimes I want that piece of chicken. Maybe this place we're going to is known for their chicken. That has rarely been the case.
What place have you been that's known for the chicken? The chef. I don't know if you know this or not. Our chef is from France. He graduated first of his class at culinary school, the Juilliard of culinary schools. I've
Cordon Bleu.
Is that one? I don't know.
I don't know. I just made that up. It sounded French.
Actually sounds really good though.
See, there you
go. And his specialty is chicken. What?
For instance, I'll give you an example. There is an Indian restaurant near my house where their chicken tikka masala. That's literally what they're known for. Is that being absolutely phenomenal. Now, I don't necessarily know if they have a beef option since it's an Indian restaurant, but that is my go-to. That is a solid choice for me.
So you like the curry?
I very much enjoy it. One of my good friends for 30 years almost. His family, we always were invited over there, and Indian food can be very spicy, specifically from the region of India where his family is from.
Okay.
And the first time I went over to their house to eat dinner with them, they invited me. I said, absolutely, I would love to. You're very kind people.
If they weren't kind, would you have gone?
It's free food, so I've never skipped a meal that was right there with you. Free.
Yep.
But I did not know the level of spice that I made a scene. I will say that scene. And every subsequent time I went over there for dinner, God love his mom, she made 2 portions, one for the family.
We had the plate, and then we had the Joe plate.
Yep. And ever since then, that's anytime I go over there to this day, she makes food, and she knows I'll be there. She makes me my own plate.
I'd say screw you. I'm sorry.
That's what most people. That's how
whatever
folks were. They're just so nice. I don't know.
The Joe plate.
That's the Joe plate. It's basically the plate with no flavor. Essentially, there's no flavor on my plate.
Chicken,
just dried chicken. But I'm gonna eat it.
I'm gonna cook it as long as possible. Yep. Maybe that's the revenge.
Maybe I never thought about it like that. Maybe it's the sinister side.
Maybe that's the passive aggressive way to say screw you.
Stop eating it. But little did she know I'd be eating it for 30 years.
30 years.
30 years every time I go there.
Chicken. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, it's hard for me now because I've cut way back on meat.
Sure.
Right. But and so I'm gonna take this one step further. The fake chicken. Oh, like where we have come so far in like Impossible and beyond, and these companies, right, where they're Morningstar Farms, whoever, where their beef is really close. Like it's weird how well it actually cooks and how much it makes you think it's beef, right? Okay. But then try the chicken.
You're still a bit of a ways off there, guys. Might want to recalibrate old.
Yeah, it doesn't taste like chicken, which everything tastes like chicken. So I can't figure out how that doesn't taste like chicken.
That's the one thing that doesn't taste like chicken.
It's supposed to be chicken, and it doesn't taste like chicken. So like, I don't remember if you remember when I was a kid, we used to get the breaded circular chicken patty. Mm-hmm. Okay, and like school lunches and stuff, we'd have it, right? And you put the American cheese on it, some mayonnaise, and there's your chicken sandwich, right? And everybody's been trying to recreate that chicken sandwich forever. And so there's a company, I'm not going to name it because
of course,
I mean, one day might sue us, who knows? But
or they could be sponsored.
One day they may want to advertise you, but so I'll keep that to myself. But they make that chicken patty, and I was so excited. Okay, and so the first one I cooked, and I read the instructions wrong. And it said to cook it for 2 minutes, right? And then halfway through, turn it over. But for some reason, I thought that meant cook it for 2 minutes, turn it over, and then you cook it for another 2. And that was rock hard.
Yeah, I believe
that was like a brick.
Yep.
So they come in a box of 4, so that was one already.
That was the test.
So I knew something was wrong. And then I reread the instructions and went, oh, I'm an idiot, right? So I made it right the next time. Man, I made this chicken sandwich. It looks like, somewhat smells like the chicken sandwich you remember from your childhood. It did not taste like that. No. No.
You can't get smell and look and taste. You only get a few of them.
Right.
You can't get all 3. The trifecta is not going to happen.
So in that world of everything tastes like chicken, they have failed.
I mean, hopefully they have other offerings that one might want.
Possibly, I don't know. I haven't tried anything else of theirs.
Why would you after that? I'm not saying you should go try it, but
So I have a question. So growing up in Iowa, the way I have, have you ever been on a chicken farm? Or maybe a better question, have you ever smelled a chicken farm?
No, I smelled a soy farm. A friend of mine had a soy farm, but never a chicken farm.
I have so many questions right now. A soy farm?
Yeah.
Like soybeans?
Yep.
Like they grow soybeans.
They grow soybeans, but a lot of them. Like,
a
lot.
Yeah, where I'm from in Iowa, it's either corn, soybeans, or livestock, or sorghum, which is another thing they grow there. Yeah, I think it.
What is that?
It's a sweetener, I believe.
Oh.
Yeah. Right. It just sounds nasty, but
it does.
But I don't know if you've ever been downwind from a chicken farm.
I have not.
If you had,
I would know.
Yeah, that's hard to forget. So when you have chicken farms, you cannot put them upwind of communities and populations, because if you're downwind from a chicken farm, it's a chicken farm.
At least they know that now to prevent any sort of major civilization from having to experience that. But that sounds unfortunate.
Now, have you seen this whole revival with chickens being brought up in people's backyards now?
Yes, I have several friends who do that.
Do you really? I have neighbors who do it. Right, which I think it's interesting. And every once in a while, there'd be a chicken running around our neighborhood, and you're kind of like, whose chicken is this?
What's happening?
Right. Wild chicken. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know if I could put chickens in my backyard.
So he does it for the eggs. Well, okay.
Yeah.
Here's the whole story. Here's the whole story. He is very much a city guy. He was born and raised in Chicago, lives in a western suburb, fine.
Okay.
His wife originally was from a farm until she was about, I think, 6 or 7. Then they moved to the big city, and then that kind of went away. Well, her dream is to one day live on a farm. And he has basically given the response of hell no, or at least not right now. Maybe one day I'll own a couple acres out in the middle of Iowa or something. But to appease her, he bought some chickens. I think they have 3 chickens. They got a nice coop in their backyard. They let them run around.
Yeah.
But there's hawks in his neighborhood.
Yeah.
So that was a concern. But luckily they have, Australian Shepherd. That's a type of dog, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. So it's this big, massive thing.
Absolutely.
They love the chickens and they guard them whenever they're out there. But yeah, he said he does it to A, appease his wife, and B, get the eggs.
So she wants to live on a farm, and all it took to appease her was to get 3 chickens?
Apparently.
Wow.
Well, so here's the thing. I think you said the key phrase, though, live on a farm. Notice how the word work is not in there.
No.
Bob, who is her husband, will work on the farm, obviously, because you can't just not work on the farm. But she loves the idea of it. And I told him, I was like, well, then why don't you buy like a nice house out there that has a couple, like an acre?
Yeah.
And you just do something like that. Like why don't you do something like that? Put a barn up even to make her feel a little bit more farmy. And he's like, I don't know if they'll go for that. And I'm like, well, you better start selling it right now, because you're running down on time here, buddy. You're running down on time. She's not going to be happy with these 3 chickens forever. So
my sister has a hobby farm in Iowa.
Oh.
And so it's a non-grain producing farm, right? So they call it a hobby farm because you can have animals, or you have the land to grow crops if you wanted to, but it would be very small. It wouldn't be a massive farm, right? We're not talking acres and acres, but we're talking a pretty good chunk of land. Sure. And she's had chickens, cows, goats. So the goats they have are called fainting goats.
I've heard of those, yes.
Where they really do faint when you scare them. And then actually like stiffens their muscles and they fall over.
They fall over.
So do you know why fainting goats exist, or like why people would have them?
I don't.
Okay, so
of course. Can I just say something?
Yeah.
Of course you would know this. Please continue.
So fainting goats, because when they get excited, they literally faint.
Yeah.
Right? They pass out. Well, to protect your real goats from wolves and predators, you would mix them with fainting goats. And then if the wolves came in, your fainting goats would faint and be food for the wolves, and you could get your real goats away to safety. And that is why the fainting goat actually was used. So there you go.
That is okay. They're the decoy, if you will.
They're a decoy goat. They're the martyr goat.
Well, I mean, everything has its place in this world, and fainting goats have theirs.
Yeah. So, but yeah, my nieces and nephews used to show cows and goats, and they, at the state fair and all that. And, and now that they're older, then they have the land. They don't really do it as far as farming goes. I don't think they even have any livestock right now at all. But yeah, that's what your friend needs to do. It's a hobby farm. It's, it's a farm without having to like do all the like real farming.
Right. And he did not sound particularly keen on the idea of having to do that, knowing he would have to do it by himself. So
soil, planting corn. Yeah. No. Detasseling.
Well, so it was fun. So my friend whose parents ran a soy farm was fun because we got to mess around on their little I think it's called a Kubota. It's some sort of like a 4-wheel thing that basically that was a lot of fun. Like when after they harvested everything and everything was down, they just basically had mounds like this, and I would take that thing and just fly over them.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was a good time. Now, admittedly, I did have to kind of patch up some of the soil parts that got a little dug out.
The area that we destroyed,
correct.
We did have to repair.
We did have to repair, but it was worth it. Completely worth it. But that's one thing about farms that kind of scare me. It's out in the middle of nowhere.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of the whole thing. You can't really have a farm in the city.
I understand that. I'm just saying for them, for instance, their nearest neighbor.
Hey, Bob, what are you doing? Oh, I'm on my way to the office. What are you doing? Oh, I'm going to plant some corn.
A mile away. I just don't know if I can do that. That makes me think of like everything.
What?
I don't think I could not have like neighbors around me. Like they lived in such a remote area, and this was in Illinois. This is not more than an hour away from where I live. And I live in, I think it's like right outside of the second biggest city in the state of Illinois. Like, so I am by no means in the middle of nowhere. Like I'm in a kind of busy place, and an hour away, it is so rural that they live like a mile and a half away from the nearest neighbor. That's just crazy to me. I don't know if I could do that. Like, I'm not saying I want somebody right next door, but like when we drive out there, I don't see a car for at least a solid 15 minutes before I get to their house. No, nothing. That's to me, that is where the horror movie starts. That's to me a boy from the city, that's where like the horror movie starts. You're driving out there, seeing your friends. Hey, man, look at that, cool, you know. And then all of a sudden, what the hell is that?
You're going to be an episode of Children of the Corn? Is that what you're telling me?
Possibly. I don't know, but that is where my head goes when I went out there. I was like, you guys mind coming with me in my car? I'm not driving out there by myself.
So I grew up in a town, right? A very small town in Iowa, right? But my parents grew up on farms. Both of them were farmers when they were growing up. We were in the city, and then after I went away to college and then went away, and my parents moved back out to the country. And so I took my wife out to see their house, and they had 3 acres surrounded by cornfields. And we got, and it's flat. I mean, you can just see forever, right? In central Iowa, where I'm from. And I remember her reaction the first time we went out there, because your closest neighbor is at least a mile and a half away. Yeah. And it used to be fun. We used to take them for rides on the tractor, right? So, because, that's not something that people from the city really get to do well. And my wife is from, she's from a large city. But yeah, Joe, that's like the whole cool part about it is you go out there and there's nobody, and you don't have to deal with people, and you don't see them. Like we would be out at my parents' house, and we called it the farm, even though it wasn't, farmhouse.
Right.
We wouldn't see anybody all day. Gravel roads, rarely a person. What every country song has ever been written about.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how that works.
I could visit that. I don't know if I could live there.
Oh, it's a great place to unplug. It's fantastic. I mean, my parents didn't have internet. Greatest place in the world to go and unplug, and for 4 or 5 days, not literally have a care in the world, and then realize that this is a great place to be from. And I'm like, to go home now.
We've waxed nostalgic so much that we wanted to just go back to our roots.
Yeah. But I would be honest with you, I couldn't. I don't. That's not my lifestyle. I'm not going to say if for some people they love it, right? People, I mean, and that's awesome, right?
That's good for them.
But for me, no. I like a place where I can have something to do when I want to go do it.
Exactly.
And not have to drive an hour and a half to get there.
So it's not farm, but my parents, they lived in Chicago for a majority of their life. My dad is from Michigan, moved down here when he was like 23, just after college. And they just moved to Michigan again 5 years ago, maybe. And they have a small little house in the middle of nowhere. It's maybe an hour and a half away from Grand Rapids. And tell me if this is what it was like by the farm for you. So obviously they don't live on a farm, but it's just a small little middle of nowhere place. Sure. They have a small community of maybe, 40 or 50 houses. And it's an hour, maybe 40 minutes to their nearest hospital. That's what they call it. It's a hospital. Okay. It is a 1-floor 10-bedroom place that is where they, if something emergency ever happens, that's where they would go. And one year we went up to, we went up there for 4th of July, and they live by a lake. So we went fishing. Why my cousin decides to do the things he does, I don't understand. Goes back, pulls, and I'll be damned if my other cousin isn't just right in the mouth, hooked right in the mouth, and I'm pulling him forward. So we went to this small little 10-room, hospital, and we get there, and what's the problem? They said, "What's the problem?" The man with a hook in his mouth. So that was what the issue is. That was part number one for me, where I said, "We need to go somewhere else. This is a concern."
We said, these are not medical professionals.
It can't be
comfortable here. They don't even accept my insurance.
So credit cards, what are those? We only take cash here. So after I explained what happened, the doctor, who had to have been 107 on the conservative side, like
he why? He's been eating that fresh chicken from the farm.
Clearly, that's what it was, 100%. And he looked at him, pulled it out, stitched him up, and then we.
So wait, I have a question though.
Please.
Was the hook still in his mouth? So nobody clipped the barb off and took it out? Okay, all right.
So I was off in a different area with my dad, because we were talking about music, and we were listening to some albums while they were out fishing. Well, I heard this whole hubbubaloo about something going on out there. Hubbubaloo, it's a good word. And I went to see what happened, and I see a man with a hook in his mouth. I immediately said, "I'm done." And then I sat, and then I saw, wait, hold on. They're going to take him to that hospital. All right, I'm back in. Let's do this. I want to see this. So again, fast forward. Nobody cuts it out. They finally cut it out, stitch him up. And he says, the doctor looks him dead in the eye and says, "So you're not going to do that again, right?" And he says, I didn't do it on purpose. He's like, "Son, I'm kidding. Do you know how many times I have people coming in here with this happening?" No. How many? I asked the guys, like, how many? He's like, during the summertime, when a lot of the people, because it's basically just a vacation area. Like, nobody really, like, there's 10 people that live there year round.
Right.
They said during the summer, when it's vacation time and the boats are out on the lake, 5 to 6 a week. Okay. Thank you very much. Handshake, payment, have a good day. And it's funny, every year during the 4th of July, my family makes a journey out there. One year, my aunt had somehow got pink eye, just out of nowhere. She woke up with pink eye. She says, "What?"
I mean, there's a way you get pink eye.
I understand, but
not sanitary, but there's a way.
Well, yes, there's not right. What else happened? Oh, a cousin fell off a dock. My cousin just fell off the dock. Wasn't paying attention where they were walking. Fell off a dock, snapped her ankle. So again, my point is, the middle of nowhere is a scary, scary place, and medical attention is scarce.
Yes, yes,
that's my point. Very scary. Now, where you lived in Iowa, what was your medical situation like? Because if it was anything like mine, whoa. Oh.
No, I grew up in a really small town, 12,000 people.
Okay.
So pretty tiny. But there's a hospital there, pretty big one, because it's a county hospital. So you got to remember, like, in the area that I grew up in is county seat. And then, so everything serves like a broader community. Sure. So where I grew up in town, getting to the hospital is 5-10 minutes away. Where my parents lived out into like the farm area, it's still 15 to 20 minutes away. So it's not that bad. Like, but again, it's a small town, so it's easier to get out of town in a very quick amount of time, like 5-10 minutes, you can be out of town. But no, it's fairly big hospital. So it wasn't like as rural as like maybe some places would be, where there would be an hour to the hospital. Then yeah, I mean, in a lot of those situations, medical attention is not close. So you do have to be able to, that's why a lot of those people, when they don't go to the doctor, they don't go to the hospital, right? Because they grow up not necessarily needing that, or not seeing that as the place to go to get attention, right? They do it themselves.
Right.
So I think that also leads to older people who go, I don't need a doctor. And then they actually do. Right. So, but yeah, I mean, because I kind of grew up that way. I wouldn't go to the doctor unless I really absolutely had to. Like, it's not something I go, oh, I need to go to the doctor. Like, that's just,
that's just not what you do.
No, I just like deal with it, suck it up, buttercup, go to work. So, but yeah, I mean, it's not this like far out, too far from civilization type of place. But at the same point, farms are always dangerous. Like anytime you're out in the country, right? I mean, you work on your own equipment. I can't tell you how many guys work on equipment, wrenches slip, bash their arm, right, or whatever. Or especially with older, level farms and older equipment, you're dealing with thrashers and those kinds of things that are just inherently dangerous. Hay balers, all that stuff. Anyway, so yeah, it can be a dangerous place, but no, most of the time, you walked around healthy. You didn't have like these like amazing like on the lake injuries that apparently like you do, right?
I mean, that's just what my family is about. Apparently, it's just injuring themselves on the 4th of July in some way. I don't understand how that happened though. I wish I was there to be able to see how everybody was in the perfect place at the perfect time to get hooked in. And I mean, how sometimes you see in movies, you're like, that's fake. That's what it looked like. Like, there's no conceivable way that happened without him going, let me see. Okay, now it's like there's no conceivable way. But it happened.
No, it's actually, it actually can happen. I mean, I've seen people come close to doing it, right? Where they, they go back and they don't look behind them and somebody's behind them and they, I've seen it almost happen. I've never seen it actually happen though.
I was inside. What?
You don't fish. So you're like, I'm not going fishing.
No, I have fished. I just haven't. So that's something my grandfather and I used to do. And there was a place he used to take me when he was even a kid. He would go here, I don't know, maybe about 45 minutes away. But after he passed away, I just never really went again. And it's not like I'm against fishing. I've just nobody has ever said, hey, Joe, you want to go fishing? Because if somebody said that, I'd go fishing.
Nobody's ever said, hey, Joe, want to go fishing?
Nobody said that to me.
You're just waiting for the open invite. You're like,
just
hey,
give me the invitation.
All I'm waiting for is somebody, please invite me to go fishing.
One person, I'll do it. Golf, I get invited to golf 3-4 times a year. I golf like crazy. I'm not any good at it. I'm terrible, but I do it.
I used to golf.
Golf is fun.
Golf is fun. I just don't have time, and I don't have the patience, and I have 2 young children, and so it's like, getting away to go golfing for the day seems ridiculous to me. But
for sure,
and it's a futile game. I'm just gonna tell you right now.
Well, no, I know, because I can't tell you how many times a friend has said, "Hey, let's go golf 18." Cool, let's do it. And then about hole 7.
Why am I here?
Yep. But it is not in that calm or nice of a voice.
Hot. I've lost 4 balls. I can't hit a damn shot straight.
Did you say 4 balls?
Yeah.
10. 4.
10
if
balls
I lost
golf,
again, I said hole
the golf
7.
balls are more expensive than the round.
I'm aware, but okay, so here's what I do. There's a fun little secret to this, because I'm aware of my flaws in the game of golf. For instance, I have a terrible right hook. So if I'm aiming directly at you and I shoot, it's going to do this. Guaranteed. Every time, no question about it. So instead of properly...
That's a slice. Is that a slice? Or I think that's a slice.
A slice just goes like that, isn't it? Because mine starts and then hooks that, whatever you want to call it. That's what I have, where I will hit it straight, and near the end, it will fade off to the right. And it looks like I meant to do it, but except it's nowhere near the hole.
So you're only good on a dogleg right.
So no. So a lot of people would say something like, well, you can get that fixed. Go talk to a professional. Have them fix, the way you hold the club, the way you stand. Nah, I don't need any of that. Easy thing. Let's say the hole is right where you are, right there. Instead of aiming this way,
you do the standard. I taught myself the golf move.
You
golden tee. You literally.
And everybody who looks at it like, there's no way. Oh my god! And then it just comes right back and lands right where I need it to be. But my little secret: go on to Amazon. They sell used golf balls. Like literally a pack of 200. I think I spent $45 on. When you're as bad as golf as me, that's what you want to do. You're not buying new Titleist. No, I'm buying Titleist from like 1953.
Right. Oh, that's hysterical.
That's what you got to do.
You buy the lot of used golf balls.
Yes.
What constitutes a used golf ball, by the way? Is that like I used it once? Is that like I went out and scrounged these out of a pond at a golf course and then sold them on Amazon?
Yep.
Yeah, I do too. I feel like somebody's like got a net and one of those like head flashlights, and they're like literally like in the water on the country club, at 10 o'clock at night in the dark, trying not to get caught.
So again, like I said, I don't always hit the perfect shot, surprisingly, but when I do end up near, the trees, excuse me, I will go over there. Oh, there's my ball. Oh, and there's another one. Okay, well, okay. Well, there's.
You just pick up somebody else's ball. You don't care.
Here's the thing. There's nobody behind us that could have shot that. And anybody ahead of us gave it up. That's my ball now. I'm going to need it more than you.
Possession is 9/10 of the law, right?
It is the truth.
Oh, that's awesome. You're stealing golf balls off the golf course.
Okay. Stealing is a very strong word. I'm repurposing it to my needs.
I'm reallocating the golf ball funds.
That's
hysterical.
Every now and then I'll find a Titleist V1.
So you sure that's not like somebody's ball coming the other way and it has strayed out of their fairway and into your fairway?
Very fair point. I will only do it if it is clearly
a very nice ball.
I don't do anything unless Titleist. If it's not a Titleist ball,
if it doesn't say Nike on it, I won't take it.
I won't do it. No, I make sure it is soiled and has been there for a while.
What is this? Pro Staff? No, I won't touch that.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
That's garbage.
Is this a Wilson? Is this a Wilson? Somebody uses Will. Oh wait, it's a 50 or a 75-year-old man. That makes sense.
Paint a face on that and get on a desert island, would you? With Wilson golf ball. Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, no, I will only take it if it is very soiled. Like if it's clearly been there for a while and somebody has given up.
Such a bad word too.
But okay. Well,
if the golf ball has crapped its pants, I will pick it up. But
pretty much.
As long as it doesn't say Wilson or Pro Staff on it.
Correct. Or if it's a driving range ball.
They will never sponsor our show.
No. I don't golf well enough to expect them to want to, so that makes sense.
Right. And I just said it's a feudal game, so they're not coming to me.
Yeah, so we're not doing that. That's okay.
No, I used to golf. I used to golf every weekend when I was young. Yeah, I golfed on the golf team in high school. Like, I love golf in the sense of like I loved going and playing but I was not very good at it. And when I say I golfed on the golf team, I was on the golf team, and I remember spending a lot of time at the driving range and only getting to play after the really good golfers who actually competed went out and played. We got to play after. And yeah, I wasn't very good. I'm not an avid golfer by far.
I think that's the thing about golf is that you don't have to be good. You just have to be willing to do two things. Spend some money, and usually, because rounds of golf aren't necessarily cheap.
No, they're not.
So usually you have to spend a little bit of money and be willing to get drunk at anywhere between 9 and 12 o'clock in the morning.
At 11 a.m. ish.
That's it.
I shoot like being sober at least 2 holes.
Correct.
and then after that
it's bad. I don't know if you've ever played this style, but if you don't at least hit it past the ladies' tees, you have to golf the rest of the round with your pants down.
Oh yes, I've heard that. I've not actually had that issue.
Twice.
Did I know that?
Twice.
I don't know why I knew that, but I knew that.
2 times.
So twice, like recently or like overall?
It's 2021, probably 2017-ish. So yes, within the last 3 or 4 years. Yeah.
How did that go for you?
I didn't do it again after those 2 times.
This is the reason why your mom always told you to have on clean underwear.
It's true.
You never know when you have to drop trout golf course.
And that's and luckily there were no marshals driving around, so I was okay. Yeah.
Makes the walk from hole to hole very difficult.
It's a challenge. Well, luckily those times we were doing carts. Like we were doing golf carts that time, so that made it less awful. But also, now that I'm thinking about it, I sat with my pants off on a golf cart. So this is something that I've never thought of until right now. And some poor slob after me got that cart.
Yeah.
Oh, this feels warm. More warm than it should. I apologize to you, sir, at the Great Meadows Golf Course in Westchester, Illinois. My bad. If you're listening, I apologize.
They are now cleaning every golf cart seat that they own and have owned for the last 5 years.
Yep. They've been they're definitely like, let's burn them all. Let's get new stock in. There's no point in
we're gonna burn all these carts. I'm kind of, I guess I'm just more impressed that you actually fulfilled the role past like the next hole.
So
I didn't know it was the whole round. I always thought it was the next hole, but
no, it's the next hole. It's that remaining hole. So it happened to me twice. Once it was both in the same round, both in the entire same 18. I think it was the second hole, and then like maybe.
Oh, so you went early on. You're like, hey, early on, I'm going all in on this.
It didn't go well. Well, again, second round, I was pounding them back a little bit harder than I should have, and it just hit me a little bit harder than I intended, and then.
So is golf really just the excuse to drink?
Yes.
As if you need an excuse, but.
Right, but that is an acceptable excuse to spend, a work, or not necessarily a work day. Some people do a work day. Like I know I have a few friends who work in the Chicagoland area who their boss literally says it's a 12 o'clock day on Fridays in the summer.
Yeah.
So, because he wants to go golf. So he lets everybody in the office out at 12 o'clock. A lot of people go golfing.
Not a bad gig if you can get it, I guess.
I mean, and the fact that they're still open and he still works there means there must be something to it.
Still doing something, right?
Didn't close out of business, so I don't know.
Interesting.
But
I do applaud you for your.
I am nothing if not dedicated to my word. If I say I'm going to go pantsless, I am going to go pantsless.
That's good to know, I guess.
I have nothing to hide. I feel like everybody else was really.
I think they call that no shame. That's what they call it.
Okay,
I have no shame. Is really what
you want to put some fancy word on it, fine. But I feel like everybody
shame
else
is a really dressed up word too, boy. That's that's a highfalutin word. That's a $10 word right there.
That's a $10 word without question. Shame. That hasn't been in my vocabulary in 20 years.
Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, there's something you probably did not know about me.
No, I would never have imagined that. I'll be honest with you. First of all, I didn't know you were a golfer.
Well, I was going to say, you didn't think that I was that bad of a golfer, or that I would put my pants around my ankles for an entire hole, or hole rather.
So something tells me I wouldn't have screamed. Somebody said, "Hey, do you think Joe's the kind of guy that would put his pants around his ankles?" I don't know why, but I'd say, yeah, I think he is. I'm more like, I didn't know Joe was a golfer.
Then I'm giving off the right vibe. Then I am being my true self, and that's all I ever wanted in life.
Just be you, Joe.
That's all I can do. I'm not good at being anything else.
No, don't try. That is amazing. Do you take chickens when you golf?
I don't. I should. Just well, now, okay, ready? Let's bring this full circle.
Oh, please.
At the restaurant at the golf course, chicken tenders, chicken sandwich, fried chicken,
yeah. And like one choice of meat, like beef. Mm-hmm. I don't know why it's like there's 5 chicken dishes and then a steak.
You gotta have that. Like that's for the
like a filet mignon.
Yeah.
Which is, by the way, when I'm in line at McDonald's to get my kids chicken nuggets for their Happy Meals, when it takes like 45 minutes because somebody is sitting there forever, I always go, "What'd you do? Order the filet mignon?" I don't know why. That's
your go-to.
That is the go-to.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, look, Sally got the filet mignon because it's taken 5 years. Because we all know chicken like doesn't take hardly any time.
Yeah, you just boom, 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 boom.
Right.
You're done.
Oh, that's amazing. And those aren't real chicken. Let's just be honest.
Oh, no. Chicken doesn't look like that.
Chicken doesn't taste like that.
Oh, that too.
That
chicken doesn't come out in different shapes. Like it just doesn't. I've never seen a part of a chicken that looks almost like a dinosaur.
I was gonna say they have the dinosaur chicken nuggets right at the grocery store.
Yeah.
They're not shaped like that.
No,
you can't cut the meat.
I guess you could cut it, but that wastes so much.
No, because the rest of it goes into the other chicken that eats the don't have a shape.
I was gonna say the dog food gets the rest of the chicken left over.
That too. And turkey. That's the other one. Yeah, we're gonna have to do a turkey show.
I think it's a meat of the week. That's what we should do. It's a meat of the week.
The old wheel of meat. The old Weird Al. Oh, which reminds me, I do have something for the tail end of the show today.
Oh, really?
I do.
Oh,
I have something for you.
For me?
Yeah, from the archives.
Oh my goodness, I love archives. Oh
yeah.
You talked about Weird Al.
Yeah.
And I assume you were referring to the Wheel of Fish.
Oh,
from
Wheel
the
movie. Yes, that's what it was. Somebody else did Wheel of Meat, but yes, Wheel of Fish.
From
UHF.
Oh,
yes.
Still one of my favorite scenes of a movie ever.
Oh, that Weird Al movie is phenomenal.
That's so good. It's so it was a cult classic. Nobody watched.
I never saw it. I saw it because somebody else said you have to watch this.
Yes.
And then they gave me their VHS copy, which I think I probably never gave back. And then, and then VHS is ended and I probably threw it away. But,
that's what you got to do. You got to consolidate.
What happens in life. But, I mean, that movie, I think highly underrated.
Oh, 100%.
Highly underrated for what it was.
Well, here's the problem. It came out the same year as Indiana Jones. And there was another big movie that came out with it that it had no shot of doing anything.
Sure.
At all. But
I'm really impressed you knew it came out at the same time as Indiana Jones. Like, oh, well.
Well, you know why.
Okay.
You know why. I have watched, so I have a DVD copy and there is a commentary with Al on it.
Well, don't lend it to me or you're never getting it back.
So honest question for you. Honest question.
Yeah.
Of the movies that you own and music, whatever, what percentage of it is from somebody else that you've just either forgotten to give back or just straight up kept?
I would say early on in my younger days, that was probably a good chunk of what I had. Today, no, none.
So it was funny because we were going through DVDs. We were consolidating because we wanted to just get rid of some movies that we had doubled.
I just went through DVDs and did the same thing.
Really?
Yeah. Well, weird. That's weird.
That's very peculiar. But
did your wife talk to my wife? Maybe that's why I got told to do it.
Are they doing their own thing? Are they doing this without us knowing?
I don't know. Now I got to find out.
Yeah, we got to figure that out. She has a lot of the same movie tastes as I do, so we found a whole bunch of them. But I was opening a drawer, and all of them were from friends from high school. Every single one of them. Every movie. And here's why. They all have their initials in the upper right corner. They started doing that because I stole their movies when I was a kid. And I wouldn't give them back, but they never asked for them back. So I still have this whole thing from all of my friends from high school. I mean, I'm talking about 15 movies. And
did they write it on there so they could come back and claim it? Because you weren't giving them back, so it wasn't like you were gonna go, oh hey, look, that's Joey's. Here's back in my drawer.
Never gonna happen. So I'm not kidding you. I called one of them and I said, hey, I was gonna talk about something else, but at the end of the conversation, I said, by the way, I have your Evolution, the movie Evolution. I love that movie. It's underrated as well, but we'll get to that later. I have your Evolution DVD. He's like, from like 2002. I was like, yeah. He's like, I have been looking for that.
Oh, no way.
And I was like, you have not. He's like, I swear to you, I have been looking for that, because he, in his house now, he has a whole wall dedicated to DVDs. Like, he literally built a bookshelf type display for 500 DVDs that he has. And he has been looking for that DVD for many years.
Please tell me they're alphabetical. I knew it. I knew it. They're in alphabetical order. I mean,
what kind of person wouldn't do?
Wait. Alphabetical or alphabetical by genre?
Oh, just alphabetical. He's not that fancy.
Okay.
I
Not now. Well, he is now. Now all of a sudden he's gonna be like, wait, that's a great idea.
Right.
Thrillers on the top shelf, comedies on the bottom.
Then he's gonna get to the serious. No, he's gonna get to the serious stuff where it's by director last name.
Oh well.
That's and it reminds me of the movie High Fidelity, where Rob Gordon would reorder his records based on whatever.
Yeah.
That's what I think he should start doing now.
That's hysterical. Well, in the E's, he's going to be missing one because he's never getting that back.
No, and the funniest thing was he never asked for it, and I never offered it.
That's it's already been written off. That's a write-off. That is literally you're never getting it back.
Later that day, I watched that DVD, and it was still as phenomenal as I recall it.
Did you pour one out for your dead homies? This was for you. There you go. But no, I do have something for you.
Yes. Okay.
So I did find this, and I know your love of Weird Al.
I adore Weird Al. I hope he's listening.
And I know that I asked you, do you have his autograph?
It's true. I did not.
And you said no. I have met Weird Al on a couple different occasions. I've interviewed him, so for people listening to this for the first time, I was in radio for almost 20 years. From mid 85, 86 over the next 20 years. And I met a lot of different people, I've hung out with a lot of different people. And I didn't realize how much you're going to love what I'm going to show you, because it has more than Weird Al on it.
Oh.
But I do have something autographed by Weird Al that I'm going to be sending you.
Oh.
And literally, it just has traveled with me around the country and just takes up space. And I've not ever displayed or anything. So this right here, this is a drumhead. This was backstage at an award show, and I honestly don't remember which one. So pardon my ignorance there. So on this side, right here, which I don't know if you can see, but right here,
yes,
that is the band Three Doors Down.
Oh,
so they autographed this. Up here, you may be able to read that right there. Let me see if I can show you what that looks like. That is JC Chazé and Lance Bass from NSYNC.
That is NSYNC. Yes, it is. Oh, yeah.
I think I'm trying to remember, because there's two on here. I don't know who they are. This one I think is the host of Super Sloppy Double Dare, Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Summers.
Mark Summers. Oh, that's yes. Yeah, I thought it was Mark Wahlberg. I couldn't remember. There's a Mark Summers, and then there was like some other guy that same name, something like that. And then this is my other favorite one. That is Shaggy.
Like
it wasn't me, Shaggy.
Like that. Oh my God.
And he drew that, and that is Bart Simpson.
I was gonna say that was Bart Simpson-esque.
Yes. And then you'll see right here. There,
the man, the myth, the legend.
There's your guy, and I'm going to be sending this to you. So this is yours.
You are too kind. You don't have to do that.
Oh no, absolutely, because I have other stuff, and I was like, this literally has just traveled around the country for probably 10 years, and it's getting a little beat up, and I don't really like display any of that memorabilia all the time and stuff, and so, but yeah, I'm going to send this to you. So just so
well, you're too kind, and don't be surprised that the next one of these, whenever I receive that, if you don't see it right like there. So I'm not going to lie, I'm excited about the Weird Al, but I didn't know there was Shaggy on there, and that just changed the name of the game.
And I don't remember the other. I feel bad because, and this is why you feel bad. Right, because like when I was doing this, in radio, like you get jazz for this kind of stuff, right? Because
Yeah.
you get this chance to be backstage and meet the artists and write in the science, and that's awesome. And there's 2 signatures literally on here. I'm like, I have no
idea
who signed that, and I'm like racking my brain. And the weird thing is, I remember sitting with Shaggy, I remember sitting with Weird Al, I remember sitting with the guys from NSYNC. And I have no clue who these 2 people are. And I'm like, I don't even remember who we sat with.
They're clearly not memorable.
And now I could even make it up. But the weird thing is, like, you can't even, like, really. I don't know.
That's one thing about signatures that always irritates me. Like, if I get somebody's signature and it's not clearly like letters that I can vaguely make out and put something together that I would want to have gotten that from them.
Yes.
It always bums me out like years later that I don't remember who that is. Because I've had that where I've met somebody behind, backstage, and they've signed something and I'm like, oh, yeah, I got nothing.
Yeah. I have
this
no
is,
idea.
This is no clue whatsoever.
All right. I'm going to tell you my favorite autograph story. And I think this is where we'll end it today.
Okay.
And I'll tell you this because in a Chicago area home.
Yes.
This is hanging on a wall somewhere.
Oh.
So my roommate in college.
Yes.
He and his girlfriend were going to see Mandy Patinkin. Now, his girlfriend's mom is a gigantic Mandy Patinkin fan.
Who isn't?
Like, she paid a lot of money to go backstage and meet Mandy Patinkin. And she got sick and couldn't go.
Oh, no.
So she sends my roommate John with his girlfriend, her daughter, and says, the only thing I ask, because I paid a lot of money, is that you get Mandy Patinkin's autograph for me. Okay?
No Easy. Problem. That doesn't sound difficult.
The show, they have a great time. Now, with the way these meet and greets work, right? It can be whatever the artist wants. So there can be this line of like a cattle call, and it's just like, next group, boom, picture gone. Next group, boom, picture gone, right? And some artists are like, I want it small, I want it intimate. And so I guess this was very small, very intimate, right? So they get there, they meet him, they talk to him, they get a picture with him, and they walk out. And they get to the car. And John goes, uh-oh, we didn't get his autograph. And so he literally they have 2 programs. And on the program is Mandy Patinkin's signature. And he takes the second program and he practices it. And
my God.
And he practices it. And then he takes the program and says to his future mother-in-law, Mandy Patinkin, right? And he takes it back. And he thinks, oh, it's a piece of memorabilia. She'll put it in a drawer somewhere. It is framed and hanging in their living room to this day, and Mandy Patinkin never signed it. That is my favorite autograph story of all time.
I don't know how you get better than that, because does every time he goes over there, does he just look at that and think
it haunts him every time? Because every time he walks in the room, he knows it was never signed by Mandy Patinkin.
That's outstanding. Oh my God.
It's the Dino and Joe Show.